guys, this is OK.Fishing. I'm Christian.
And I'm Jaden, and welcome back to Echoes in the Timber.
So we're on episode 11 now, right?
Yep.
I think. And we have been doing something over the weekend. We'll go ahead and get into that here pretty quickly. But a lot of things are changing as it's getting colder, or not colder, but as summer's coming to a close. Deer patterns are starting to change. You'll start seeing deer with antlers now and less velvet, and they should have no velvet by now. But those things are going to start to change, and with that, our mindset's changing. And as we've slowly been getting into each episode, we are gearing towards hunting now. We're getting close to hunting, so we're going to be ready and we're going to make that switch here pretty quickly. We'll probably take a couple more fishing trips before hunting season starts, but pretty much we're dead focused on hunting right now.
I'd say by at least mid-September to late September, we're probably primarily focused on straight hunting.
Yeah, I'll need to practice with my bow multiple times a week, so
I'm
I
trying
just won't
something
have time.
new, so I gotta practice as much as possible.
Yeah, and I believe in you. You got this. But let's go into our backwoods bulletin. So, Major League Fishing, Stage 7.
Lake Erie.
At Lake Erie, okay.
Smallmouth only tournament, dude. It was a good one.
Justin Lucas got first place, 98 and 11. What do those numbers mean?
98 pounds, 11 ounces was the total.
Okay, so he was 19 pounds ahead of second place.
Yeah, and second place is one of my current favorite bass fishermen. He makes my favorite baits and everything.
So second place was Jacob Wheeler with 79,
That's the
7 ounces.
That's the Crush City guy.
Okay. And then a guy named Zach Burge is Angler of the Year, and he is from Oklahoma. So
I think he ended
Oklahoma
up in like
on top.
I think he ended up in like sixth place, but he was leading it in the up going into the final day. He was actually leading the tournament ahead of the people that won.
But at the end of the day, doesn't matter where you start, just matters where you finish. You can have a great lead, but you got to keep that head in the game because it's not over yet. Especially at a big stage like this, you're competing against a lot of big names. And not to mention, luck definitely comes into play when it comes to this. I'm sure that 19 extra pounds wasn't from this guy being leagues better. He probably got into some really good
hard
fish.
Fought.
Yeah.
It was hard fought. Like, he wasn't even in the rankings, like the top 5 going into the final.
Is that 5 fish?
25 total.
25 total fish was
3 days.
Was 98 pounds. So that's an average of like give or take 4 pounds of fish.
I think that's what they say is 4 pounds.
Huh.
Pretty solid average, especially smallmouth.
Yeah. Yes, especially smallmouth.
But the guy from Oklahoma winning Angler of the Year, that's pretty cool. We only have a handful of what we consider pros and greats.
Yeah,
bass
I'm
fishermen.
one of them, but Jaden is still figuring it out.
So we got Jimmy Houston, we got Jason Christie, and now we got Zach on the list.
Yeah, and but I think that's pretty cool. We have Oklahoma making their name because Oklahoma is an underdog state when it comes to bass fishing.
Jason Christie also, he's been doing really good this year. I think he's even won a few. I know for sure he's won at least 1 or 2 tournaments so far this year.
Yeah.
And he's from Tahlequah, Oklahoma.
Another fun fact, actually, is Oklahoma has more man-made lakes than any other state. So, and a lot of times those man-made lakes are where a lot of these fish are, which is what makes Oklahoma such a great fishing state. One of the most affordable, too. a really great state for if you are just a fisherman. Oklahoma is probably the place to be. I mean, you have so many species, and you just it's hard to go out and not have a certain species you can catch that day. Like, there's always something biting. It might not be what you want to target, but I guarantee there's something out there. And other places might change depending on the heat. It might get too hot for them, or it might get too cold for them. But Oklahoma, we always have something biting. Always. Okay, let's go right into, I guess, catch of the week. So we're gonna do something different. As we have slowed down fishing, we are kind of focused on hunting, as you guys know. So catch of the week will slowly transition into like a what we saw, maybe hunting, what we maybe got something new on camera, or maybe a deer we harvested.
Yeah, maybe a deer, maybe a squirrel, maybe some
Like
type of bird.
probably opening week, there's gonna be multiple deer harvested.
Hopefully we can get some dove on the catch of the week list.
That would be pretty cool. I'd like that.
We need some of them flying flaming yawns.
But so we're gonna talk about our first deer, since obviously we don't have any that we. So my first deer, I was hunting with an AR-15. I shot. I had a bunch of. My heart rate was high, and so when I shot, I jerked the trigger and jerked the gun, and I missed. And then I got another opportunity, and I shot the deer right in the middle of the neck, and it just dropped in its tracks. But my first deer was about 100-pound doe, because I actually had an opportunity on a 6-pound buck, but I passed him the year before because I probably should have shot his girlfriend though that was walking with him, but I don't know. I didn't. I guess I don't know. I just didn't. But I passed him, and
Said sorry to intrude on your date, but I'm gonna
yeah,
have to take you home.
yeah. But I really am glad my first deer was a doe, and I think I am a very big doe hunter. I've killed a lot of doe in my life, like more than any other, because doe are what causes issues. Like you see a bunch of deer on the road dead that were hit by cars. Most of them are doe because most of the deer are doe, so they're the ones that are going to be more likely to cause accidents and hurt people and
Not
stuff.
to mention the bucks, they know when they want to move, and they stick to those patterns, and it ain't often that they move.
Yeah.
So the does are always moving.
Well, what's yours?
Well, my first one, I was using my dad's breakover 243, and we were on public land in Pryor, and I had to be woke up to shoot it. I was asleep. I had crashed out. My dad woke me up and said, "Hey, you want to shoot this deer?" And wide awake. Wide awake immediately. And we shot it, and it ran all kinds of circles, made it a hard blood track. And my dad's dealing with me walking around trying to track the deer for me because I'm 8, looking, trying to help look, and more or less just causing more issues than I'm helping. So he's like,
"There's blood over here, Dad. There's blood over here." That's just a red leaf, son.
He's like, just go over there, and let me look for a minute. He's like, it went in circles, and now I'm trying to find out which way it goes. He's like, go over there, and I go over there, and I look over the hill, and I'm like, man, there's something over there that's white. There's something bright white laying in the woods. That bright white was that deer laying nose down in the ground with his butt in the air. That bright white was his butt sticking up in the air. He was nosedive over a dead log. He's just laying over it. But my first one was a spike, but on public land, and I was 8.
Yeah.
So back then, it's kind of take what you can get.
Especially public land. Especially public land.
Like, it was a legal buck, and it was harvested for a first deer. So I wish it was bigger, but it was the first one.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you're putting meat on the table. I mean, you can't eat the antlers. Obviously, we want to chase a big buck, and to chase a big buck, we had to pass the little ones. But we're not stopping you from doing it because, you have to feed people, okay? We just are going to kind of try and show that proper herd management and targeting the right deer will allow those spikes to turn into something better. And even the 8 points that I've killed, I'd argue are too small. Would I let my son shoot one of them for his first deer? Yes. But would I ever shoot one? I'm honestly not trying to shoot another one. Maybe I will if I get a chance with my bow, but I really feel like they just had so much potential, and I feel like I just kind of ruined that. I don't know. I feel it's kind of heartbreaking to know what I could kill versus what I did kill, especially the property I hunt because those deer have really good genetics and they can grow massive. And but it's what happens. You're in the woods, you see a great looking deer and you shoot it, and it's only a good looking deer. But you made your judgment and you still put meat on the table, and that's what counts. And I don't know what you want to say about that, but
Well, at the end of the day, the primary focus on hunting is to put food on the table.
yes.
But also at the end of the day, with proper herd management and things like that put in place, like you can still put food on the table and still get what most will consider a trophy, or you can get an actual trophy. But I will say, if you're putting meat on the table, one big buck is going to put a lot more meat than a small buck.
Yeah. It might not taste as good,
So if you're going to
but
go for what's less meat, you may as well just go for the doe and then let the smaller buck grow, because a couple years from now it's going to have more meat than two doe. Like, you, you'll never have that if they don't grow.
so I personally have never killed a spike. I'll tell you how big all the deers I've killed. I've killed two roughly 100, 110 pound does. I've killed a 120-ish pound buck and a 150-pound buck. But the rest of the does I've killed are probably 80 and 60 60. I know I've killed, and I've there's another doe in there. She was probably around 90 or maybe 80, 90, somewhere around there. But two of them were definitely the 60-pound does. And I will tell you this, those 60-pound doe, they are so good. They just don't have a lot of meat. So you're using a tag on something that doesn't have as much meat. I think there's a balance. I'd say probably the perfect is that 80 to 90-pound deer because it's still tender, but it still has a good bit of meat. Like those shoulders, especially.
That's another thing. On the doe, you're pretty much guaranteed on a doe for the meat to be more tender.
Yeah.
Because bucks are out fighting during the rut every year, and they get injuries. Those injuries create scar tissue or infections and things like that that leads to unedible meat, like meat that you can't eat and have to throw away. But does, they're just living life, cruising around the woods, eating food, getting fat
Yeah,
and happy,
and eating all of the corn that
eating mass amounts of corn,
yeah,
mass amounts.
massive, absolutely massive.
Like, I'll give you some insight. I probably went through 500 pounds of corn last year. That's a
Yeah.
lot. That's a lot of corn. They had help with the hogs. Without the hogs, we probably would have
That's
went through half of that.
that's the great part about the feeder though, because
Well, I thought so until they knocked it
yeah, they
over.
knocked it over, yeah.
And then, if you're gonna buy a feeder, stake that thing out where nothing can knock it over. Because if they can find a way to knock it over, they will do it.
Yes.
If
They
they
will.
ain't got to wait on a mass quantity of corn, they will knock it over. They're impatient.
Well, I guess uh, talk about some feeders. We just brought this up. We're kind of already in the thick of it, but I think you knew the brand I own. But I'll tell you this about feeders, guys. Depending on the type of feeder you buy, determines what the deer are going to do. If you get one that's timed, you can hopefully time the deer where they eat at those times. You obviously won't. But if you're lucky, there's a young, dumb doe that'll come and eat all of it in the middle of the day. So then the only way other deer can eat it is if they come in the morning. That's that's what you hope for. Is that going to happen?
It's
Probably not.
50-50.
It's 50-50. Last year, they ate pretty well early season, but late season they turn nocturnal because they get used to hunting patterns and they kind of slowly go into the night. But they have a couple different feeders that are timed. The feeders we have that are automatic, they just fling corn out at certain times of the day, so many times a day. And it. You good?
Flinging ain't the word for it. Them things zip corn out. Them things will kill you. I'm afraid of walking up on a dead deer that got shot down by the corn flying out. It they fling corn a good distance, so
Yeah,
it they carry the scent of food well.
and that radius is pretty big. It throws it pretty far.
And you can adjust the radius by extending the legs. Like the farther you extend those legs, the farther it throws corn.
Yeah,
It throws it with the with all the legs extended. I'd say you probably find corn probably 80 to 100 feet away.
yeah, it would probably be pretty far. But yeah, that kind of feeder, and then you have feeders that open up. I forget the name of them, but like
The
they're
deadfall.
they're a big feeder and they're like a trough, and they open up at certain times of the day, and
That
so
is that is the only way to guarantee that they're eating at the exact time you set it, because it will only open up at that time, and it
yeah.
only opens for so long before it just closes itself back down.
The only issue I see with them is that they can just completely eat through all your corn. So once it's open, they just
I
get
think,
free reigns.
if I'm not mistaken, we can look into that, but I think you actually can adjust the amount of time it stays open, like how long it'll stay open.
Yeah, you can. So you could kind of change.
So I think you could, if you could set it for like a 30-minute window, that's enough time for them to get a good bite and not clean you out.
Yeah.
Don't be like the one I have last year, eat for 2 hours straight and leave almost nothing behind.
You gotta walk in with a bag of corn every time you go hunting.
I know, you're basically feeding one single deer. The one single deer kept coming back cleaning us out.
But now that we've kind of explained automatic feeders, let's go into something Jaden uses, and then we'll go into a final target, which both me and Jaden have done. So let's kind of.
So, I like he's talked about, we both use the time feeders, but also we have what's called a feed station. I think we have what, probably four on our hunting property that we use.
That sounds about right.
I think we have three or four, but what it is, it's a plastic feeder that you strap to a tree. It's got two mouth holes. A couple of them that we
Yeah,
have, the newer style, only has one mouth hole, but
and it has.
you strap it to the tree and it'll hold 50 pounds of corn, but it stays open 24/7. So they can come and eat pretty much as they please and as much as they want. So it kind of doesn't help you figure out their patterns or anything like that, but what we mainly use it for is to get them in and actually focused on the corn. And as they actually start gathering in that area, expecting the corn to be there, we will slowly stop putting out as much corn throughout the season. Like at the beginning, we'll fill a thing to the top and just keep filling it. And once we notice that the herd is pretty good and used to it for that time frame of the season, we'll start putting like maybe half a feeder, and then we'll go down to like a quarter of the feeder. But it keeps them in the area, but we have found a way that we are not just continuously dumping 50 pounds of corn for them to eat it in one go. But it's more or less just a feeder just to find out, just put out in front of your camera, just to get the deer. Like you're not gonna get them in the hours that you want. Sometimes they are in the hours you want, but pretty much they are whenever they feel like eating. They come through and visit. So
Yeah.
there's no timer, no digital, no nothing. It's a plastic essentially bucket with mouth holes.
And usually on them, if you pay attention, it has big white letters in bold that says, "Raccoons, eat at your own pleasure."
Yep. We haven't had a problem with raccoons. It is the hogs have figured out how to stand on their back legs, and if they lean on it, it tilts them mouth holes and it will just pour it. If you lean on it, it will pour it. And them pigs have figured that out. We have pictures of them leaning on our feeders to where it's pouring the corn on the ground. So we got to where we're strapping them up higher so it's harder for them to reach, but the deer can still stretch their heads up there to eat them.
Yeah.
You gotta combat the hogs somehow. You gotta find a way because if it's there, they're gonna get it.
Okay, so let's go into number 3. The third way to feed deer. I know you've done this. You walk into your hunting stand carrying a bag of corn and you pour the corn out every time you're hunting and hopefully multiple times throughout the week. And you just keep a pile of corn out there. I've done that. When I was doing that, I'd go through about. It started off at 2 bags a week, and by the time I stopped, by the time I got that feeder out there, I was going through 4 bags a week. It
So
was.
one thing I do recommend. So sometimes we still do go out there with a sack of feed and
Yeah.
just bust it on the ground, let them have at it. We don't usually do that during season. It's usually before season just to get them like, hey, come over here so we can get them in front of the cameras.
Yeah.
What we do is we'll when we take and open the bag, we'll bring like a cup with us and we'll take and fling it. Like we'll actually fling it out into the dirt, not leave it in a big pile. If it's in a big pile, they could sit there and just scoop mouthful after mouthful. But when you spread it out, they actually have to go through and pick through the leaves and dig for it.
Yeah.
So you're still using the same amount of corn, but they're not going through it as fast because they're actually having to work for it. And it's still getting them in front of our feeders and cameras.
Yeah. And if you guys see, what's it called? Rage Liquid. If you guys see that.
Acorn Rage.
Acorn Rage, yeah. You can pour a little bit in the corn, and those deer, at least from my experience, have gone absolutely wild. They love that stuff.
I will second that, but also, I think we may have a container of it floating around in this room. Where's the corn coat?
Emptied.
It's empty now, but come here, deer, corn coat.
Dude, that's so good.
That stuff,
Oh my
it
gosh.
doesn't even just attract deer, man. It attracts me.
Yeah,
Every time I go to the hunting section of Walmart, I cannot stop myself from
It's like,
smelling it.
it's like,
I have, every time, I can go for just any other thing that's not related to deer hunting. And if I cross past the hunting section, I'm like, gotta smell it.
I had that lid duct taped closed, and I could still smell it through the duct tape.
My cousin spilled some in my dad's vehicle in 2014. And I bet you can guess what that vehicle still smells like today. Still smells like come here, deer corn coat. And this vehicle hasn't ran in probably 6 years. Just been sitting there out in the yard. Still smells like come here, deer in there.
Well,
It's stuff that scent carries well.
if you're ready, let's go on to the main topic.
Yep.
So I'm gonna go ahead and run some numbers with y'all. So let's do this as accurate. So we're gonna say you already own a gun. we're gonna say you already own a weapon, the ammo, okay. But we will go ahead and go into cheap ammo if you don't own ammo. I'll bring that up real quick.
So starting out, the cheapest is gonna be federal.
Yeah, federal. And if you're hunting with a bow, Realtree and another brand, they sell like $7 arrows at Walmart.
Walmart arrows, and then Walmart. If you're going truly budget, Walmart has their own broadheads. If you want to
Yeah,
be brave and try them,
I would say go ahead and spend like 25, $30 on something a little nicer.
I would say buy the nicer broadheads. I have
Yeah,
experience with every style of Walmart broadheads, and only two of them have actually worked out.
yeah. I bought
There's five. They sell five different styles of their brand, and only two of that brand has actually worked out for
I
me.
I bought the Muzzy Trocar, I think is what it's called, but they work pretty good. I just killed my first bow kill with one, and I would say it was pretty lethal. I also shot it through the heart though, you know. So like, how much are you gonna be able to tell if you shoot a deer through the heart? You know what I mean? But um, I would say buy them. They were like $30, I think. They were they're definitely pretty good, but so there you go, $30 and $7 for an arrow. Just buy three of them. That's 21. That's $50 for arrows. And bullets, you're lucky. Gun season, it's a lot cheaper. A lot cheaper. I mean, you can get you
A
can get
box of Federal bullets are probably under $25 right now.
yeah, you can get it.
Soft points.
You can get it pretty cheap. But let's talk about things that will actually help you see the deer. So we just talked about a bag of corn. Do you need a bag of corn? No. In all honesty, I would say you need, like, besides hunting license and deer tags and the weapon, I'd say you'd need one thing, and that is to sit there and wait and to not have your scent out. Those are the most important things. If I only had so much money to spend one year, it would be on no scent spray. And if I don't even have the money to do that, there are ways you can make your own no scent spray, which Jaden will go into.
So you can take like a. I would recommend a cheap blender. I have done this with my mom's household blender, and her, me and my dad done this, and she was not happy about it. But you can take what works best is if you go to the property where you're gonna hunt and stuff like that. Gather up leaves, pine needles, plants, and things from that area that you're in. Maybe acorns, something like that. But you take and you put those in a blender and you top it off with water and you'll blend it up and you want it to be like a liquid that you could put in a cheap spray bottle that you can buy at the Dollar Tree for $1. You can put that liquid in there and you can mist that on your clothes and it will have you smelling like the plants in your surrounding area. But it really kind of defeats the purpose if you don't use plants in the area that you're hunting. Like it kind of needs to be the plants in the area that you're hunting. But other than that, I like to use the stuff you could buy at Walmart also.
Let's see.
That's the
Some.
brand right there.
We have some right here.
So the orange bottle, that's the
Oh, here we
brand.
go.
This
Here
is
we
the
go.
one I use primarily right here.
Here's Scent Killer.
This is so this one they make laundry soap, they make dryer sheets, they make deodorant, shampoo.
Dryer sheets are probably the more important one.
But this laundry soap
yeah,
and the dryer sheets are probably the most important of this. You can buy any other scent killer for your actual hunting clothes. I I happen to use this because you can buy it in a kit together.
and then we do have this, which is Cover Scent. Although I don't use it a whole lot. I don't know if you've used much Cover Scent, but Cover Scent's different. Instead of masking your scent,
Yeah.
it puts a scent out there that will hopefully overpower your scent.
I more or less like the science behind this one. This one's got, instead of like covering your scent, it blocks the enzymes that create your scent. So
Yeah.
it kind of stops your scent before it happens. That is if your scent's already out and about, it kind of masks the scent that's already out. That stops it from happening in the first place. Like that stuff, I think with the laundry soap, you can wash your clothes with it. And it's supposed to last like 10 trips or something like that.
Yeah. But though that's probably I'd say the most important thing. Um I mean, we can go into blinds, but I'll be honest, you can very easily kill a deer with just a 5-gallon bucket and a pad on the bucket.
I'll do you one better. I killed one a couple years ago. Absolutely nothing. Just me in the ground.
On the ground?
The straight ground. I took a literal stick, scraped the leaves away, and sat right there. And I shot a deer on the ground.
Yeah,
With,
so
with crossbow and everything. I'm like, I never thought it was going to happen because she was walking in, and I'm like, oh man, there's no way she doesn't see me. And she just kept walking. I was like, what? It's like, it's kind of one of the most adrenaline filled hunts because you, like, the deer is right there in your face. Like,
yeah.
you're ground level with it. Like, you're on its level.
But I'd say definitely include that in your budget. Those are number one. But we're going to assume that you have little money and you're looking for what you want to actually buy. So I'll tell you this starting off with trail cameras,
These options also vary if you're
yeah,
hunting public land. If you're going to put cameras on public land, lock them to the tree and they have to be labeled with your name and customer ID number.
and but I would say don't buy what did we say outdoor wild game innovations. Although you said you haven't been having issues with a different style,
their new model.
but I'm gonna be honest, I still don't know how much I want to trust them. I really don't.
We'll come back to you after this season if they're still working.
Yeah, because I had 4, and each year I had one quit on me. So I, 100% fatality rate.
We've had 6 and 2 of them have quit working. So we're holding steady
A
at
little,
4,
yeah,
and the other 4 are the old style. We have the new style, and those are giving no indication of
yeah.
failing anytime soon.
He's bought some from Amazon. I just used one from Muddy, which did pretty well. Did good pictures. A little more expensive, but I I'd say it's a solid camera.
The Amazon ones are a budget friendly option. The picture quality is good, but it kind of has its own little downfalls. Not that they're like big issues. Like the camera quality is still good, but it's not as good as some of the bigger name brand camera quality. And it strictly only puts your times in military time.
There ain't nothing wrong with that
Like
though.
some people can't read military time. We can. We're not. It's not a big deal to us.
Yeah.
But some people may be like, oh, it's only
And
military time and not want it.
and everyone at almost every other country besides the US uses military time. So and it's not called military time outside. Like you go to Chile, you ask what time it is, they say 16:05. You ain't like, what? Why are you using military time? It's not military time to them. It's just time. It's
Yeah.
just what the time is. It and it's not that hard to translate.
I will say one other thing on the Amazon cameras is when you first turn them on, they do make sound. Like this initial power on it makes like a startup sound. It's like it's kind of like a text ringtone
So
sound.
how much would one run you? $40, $50?
One of the Amazon ones,
Yeah,
I'd say about $30.
30
It was
bucks.
like $64 for a 2 pack.
And I would say buy two. So it was 60 for two. I would say you want two. Two's probably, especially if you're by yourself. He's hunting with multiple people. has arguably a bigger area you can hunt. Because I kind of generalize stay to one area, and I only have two stands. So having more cameras, hopefully
Yeah,
I'll have.
we definitely got a bigger area there. We have 13.
Yeah. Um, my cousin has more. I'm sure there's probably 8 cameras on a 90-acre property.
Yeah, I think we have 8 or 10. We have
Yeah.
8 or 10 cameras on ours.
Yeah. Because Danny has quite a few, but I don't. I just kind of have. I have my. I don't like going out to travel and grab all those SD cards, and I only hunt a certain area. I think the perfect number for me would be 3 though, because there's a couple trails that I want to put a camera at. I just haven't. And
It really varies on your hunting area size too.
yeah,
Like some people will tell you 1 camera per 10 acres. If that's the case on our hunting property, we would have 18 cameras.
yeah,
I'm like, I don't even want to deal with 18 cameras. We're dealing with 10 now, and it's plenty.
yeah. I think you kind of can see like the difficulties you might have. I might get a cell camera this year. I might not. It just depends on how my budgeting goes. We're on the topic, and I see importance of getting a new bow. My dad is getting his shoulders getting weak, and I want him to be able to kill a deer with a bow, so he can't really draw his recurve back anymore and do it a whole bunch enough to be super accurate. If I got him a compound, I my dad would have a lot higher chance at getting a deer because there's just a lot less that goes into sitting there and aiming with a compound, and he still wouldn't be on a crossbow. I know how he is. He's kind of, I guess, old fashioned in that sense. Um, but at the end of the day, all you need to do is put meat on the table. Don't ever judge someone by what they use. Never. If someone uses a 223 and they're 400 pounds, you might judge them. But we shouldn't.
So you can definitely kill a deer with the 223, but let me tell you, do not buy the Harrington and Richardson 223.
Yeah. Um, Buy a bigger cartridge if you're a bigger guy. Usually that's how it goes. You can handle the kick. In all honesty, I would tell you, I would say just buy a bigger cartridge anyways. You want something that you know.
You want to efficiently kill it.
Yeah.
Like you don't want it to run around for miles with a bullet wound and then bleed out and die. Like you want the harvest to be over as fast as possible.
Yes.
So like if you got a 150-pound buck running around and you shoot with the 223,
You better have a perfect
you
shot.
better have a perfect shot, or else this deer is going to be running to the ends of the earth with a bullet wound.
Yeah, so I think that kind of lays into the fact, like we shouldn't judge, but there are reasons why we pick things. There are, and you should just never judge somebody by what they use, because at the end of the day,
I won't
y-
lie, I use a crossbow, but I do it because it's fun and I have injuries. But
yeah,
I also hunted with a compound for quite a while, and I'm going to try it with a recurve this year.
I
So,
I think one day I might have to try and get a kill with a crossbow. Will it be this year? No. I think I want to get my first buck before I consider switch switching and trying it out. Although I won't switch
I think
because
me trying to get one with the recurve this year might make up for the crossbow all the other years.
yeah, I think it would too. JC on the other hand, I don't know why he touches a crossbow. I'll be upset at him for every minute.
Yeah, I played a lot of football and done a lot of non-football
Oh,
related things that have
so
resulted in
you
arms
know
that don't work like they
you
should.
know how Paul is considering getting a uh, new compound?
Yeah,
You should talk to him about selling the compound to Jacob. See if you can get Jacob interested into it.
Paul's left-handed.
Oh, dang it.
He's not even left-handed. He just shoots a left-handed bow. He's a weird creature.
Okay, so I thought the bow. So Paul bought a bow for Jacob. He didn't give him his
Yeah,
bow.
Paul bought a bow for Jacob.
That sucks. I was gonna say because I know Jacob shoots compound. I'd like to see him get a deer with a compound bow. That'd be pretty cool. But so let's get back into budgeting. So you have some extra money to spend. You buy $60 worth of cameras. That's pretty solid. And I'll say if you buy a feeder, an electric feeder, you can control the amount it puts out. It will cost you more up front, but it'll probably save you. Okay, we'll say I said I was going through 4 bags a week by dumping them out. You might that was an estimation because I wasn't keeping corn out there. I never put 4 bags a week, but if I was going to keep corn on the ground, I probably would have needed to put that much. So we'll say you're keeping corn on the ground every day, 4 bags a week for 10 weeks.
Yeah.
Well, technically more for preseason. So we'll say 14 weeks. Oh my gosh, you're already talking probably $300 in corn, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um. So that's a lot of money. Okay, let's just to make this simple. Let's pull up a calculator. Okay, so we'll say 14 weeks. So 14 weeks times 4 equals 56, and I just paid 970 a bag, I think.
Holy
Oh my
moly.
gosh! Oh my gosh, dude.
That's
Holy
You'd be spending more in corn than I spend to lease property.
$543 to keep corn out for 14 weeks. Oh my gosh.
At that rate, you could just go buy
So
buy a
let's
cornfield.
let's run this. You said 110, and you really only need $50. Oh, sorry. You really only need 50 $50 worth of corn, I feel like. Um, and then you need a battery, which we'll say $20. $180 for the whole year. And that's if you limit the amount of time it's flinging out corn. You could probably get 5 bags to last uh, the whole season. I feel like you could get 5 bags to last the whole season.
I filled it up to its capacity one time, and it lasted pretty much all of the season until it got
Yeah.
knocked over.
I filled it up in the middle of the season somewhere, so I probably put about 5 bags into
I think
it
I added
last year.
mine never truly emptied out, but I think I added a 5 gallon bucket of corn towards the end of the season.
So $180, and let's do this. Plus the 60 we told you to spend on cameras. Oh. It's $240. What else?
And
Okay.
this is a one-time purchase. This is
Yeah.
a every year purchase.
Some of this. So let's see. $240. And now let's subtract and the only now let's subtract 50. And now that'll tell you. So $190 will last you a while. And then you're paying $50 every year for corn. But the 190 you keep for next season. You'll still have your cameras. If you buy a decent brand, you'll still have your feeder as long as something crazy doesn't happen. You might eventually need to replace a battery. Or last year we had a weird issue with the wiring and our feeder wasn't working. This year we didn't have that issue. It worked fine. And we fixed it ourselves, and I feel like it was a simple fix, and you guys shouldn't struggle. But let's go back into this. What else do they need to buy? So we have ammo. We're gonna say you're gonna be able to reuse those arrows mostly, besides the broadheads. But
Sometimes you can even reuse those, depending.
we're gonna say you use $15 worth of ammo a year, right?
Could be, yeah.
Yeah, after everything's said and done, probably about $15. You know, counting your bows, your arrows, and everything. Probably about $15. So really not that bad. So 50 plus 15 is 65 every year. And that's the bare minimum you need to spend. You just need your upfront cost. And I'll tell you this, if I was you, I would buy an electric feeder. It times the deer
As
out.
long as you're on your private land, by the way.
Yes.
Don't get caught with an electric feeder on public land.
And if you do, it was for the squirrels.
If you do, you've seen somebody else put it there. You you got to Scooby Doo him. You're gonna have to point. You're gonna have to point. He went that way. Said he was wearing camouflage and he went
Yeah,
that
he was
way.
wearing camouflage and he went that way. And as the cop turns, and
You scatter up a tree.
you get out of there, man. But what else? Okay, so we got that down. What else do they need? I feel like that's everything, right? Like that they absolutely need for hunting.
Invest in a skinning knife and a gut knife.
Yeah,
That's like a necessity.
and that'll last you. I've had the same knife.
as
We'll
long
just show you this.
as long as you buy a quality knife up front, this is a one-time purchase that will last you your whole life. Like I still have a hunting knife that was passed to me from my dad, and my gut knife was my grandpa's. So like these have been around for a long time, many years.
You guys have already seen these knives, but these knives are older than me. So they're buck knives, and we use them every year to skin a deer. And I think that's important. Now, say you don't want to own three knives, three cheap, like we talked about, own three cheap knives, or one good knife, or two good knives. Just have your buddy own a knife, and then when you kill a deer, don't have him work. He doesn't need to come over and help you skin the deer, but he can come over and loan you a knife, or come over and like what I've done is I've invited buddies over and they just help me pick up the deer, because I believe to truly respect the animal, you have to do a lot of that process yourself because it's a part of the tradition. I would say. I feel like that's kind of you skinning the deer is like it's more than just it's your deer you have to skin it. More it's like you took the life of an animal and you need to show it the proper respect. You know, take the proper care to it. And I think that's kind of at the end of the day what it's about. Hunting is about being one with nature. Let's take some words out of a professional writer. If I can find the words. Um, so let's do this. So here's here's from a professional writer. I have acquired valuable skills and have become integrated with the natural world. The patience that earned me my first deer has become ingrained in me. By intertwining with nature, I have learned to appreciate our world. The significance of hunting has had for me lies in my understanding of the problems caused by deer overpopulation. I will continue my life as a hunter and keep protecting Mother Earth. So, they're just kind of saying there's it's more than just killing a deer. It's about the connections you make. The food you're putting on the table at the end of the day is bringing you connections with the people you're feeding.
And not only are you feeding your family and bringing yourself closer to nature, you're improving nature itself. If there's too many deer going around eating all the food, they're going to go around, they're going to start causing more car accidents, they're going to start eating more food that other animals can eat, and then you're going to see a decline in other animals that are smaller because they can't compete for food with the deer. So, like, for us to quit hunting, it's not just we're connected to the nature and feeding our family. if we were to quit hunting and everybody stopped hunting, deer are absolutely going to wreak havoc on the earth. They will they will
Yes.
be everywhere, and they will eat everything, and they will destroy property. Like,
At the end of the day, it's our fault. We're the ones who came in, wiped out wild wolves, wiped out massive populations of cougars and mountain lions. We wiped out their natural predators.
mankind took away the natural solution to deer overpopulation, and now mankind is going to have to take the place of what we took away.
Yeah, we have to take the place. It's not a, oh, something else can do the job. No, we have to take the place. Like, there's nothing we can do
No,
about it.
because you could be like, what was it? I think it was Yellowstone that brought in the
Wolves.
wolves, and they brought them in, and now that they brought them in to clean up a mess, now they can't get rid of them. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, they brought it in to clean up one problem, and it created an issue itself. Now
And,
there's wolves all over Yellowstone,
you know,
and people are getting attacked by them,
the
actually.
the thing about those wolves too is I listened and watched a documentary
It
about it.
They did the job they
The
were there to do.
Yeah, the wolves really were like vital to Yellowstone, and when they were wiped out by us, Yellowstone really suffered for it in the overpopulation of elk, which in turn uh,
Overgrazed the land.
overgrazed the land, made rivers run dry or run through certain areas they shouldn't. They killed a bunch of plants other animals were relying
Another
on.
thing elk like to do is they take a puddle and they roll in it like pigs, and they turn it into an absolute mud pit. Like, they elk are like a pig. They will create massive mud pits to dust bathe in.
Yeah, and the wolves introduced, yes, they only were really taking out the elk, but by taking out the elk, all those issues the elks were causing just disappeared. And obviously, the wolves have their issue. I think wolves are cool. If I died getting mauled by a wolf,
Yeah, I think
I'd
they're
be okay
I
with
think
it.
they're cool, but the fact that we had to implement them to undo things that we had caused,
Yeah,
and now they're creating a whole new issue
yeah,
themselves. Like, it's all because of us. We did that, and now we're trying to undo it. And in a way, we have, but we have created other issues, undoing another issue.
yeah.
Like,
So,
it took care of the overgrazing and the overpopulation, but now there's more wolves than they accounted for. Now they have a breeding
okay,
population of wolves again.
let's go ahead and get into our campfire question. If you could only live in one place the rest of your life, where would it be?
Alaska.
Alaska? I would love Alaska, but in all honesty, Oklahoma, specifically northeastern Oklahoma. I love everything we have here. It's a great state. It has its issues, but it really is a great area to live in. I've been all over the nation. Yellowstone is awesome, but you know, I can't hunt in Yellowstone, not without special permits.
If I, had,
Fishing,
if I had to pick a close second, it would be probably West Virginia. I like it
yeah.
down there. I've been there multiple times. It's peaceful.
I think
Everybody stays to themselves.
I think Alaska would be awesome to live in, though. In all honesty,
Yeah, literally sportsman paradise. Like,
yes,
hunting, fishing, ATV, snowmobiles, you name it, Alaska offers it.
yeah. But I think that's pretty simple. Thank you for the question, viewers. Keep them coming, and I guess we'll see you in the next one. May your campfires burn bright,
May your adventures be worth telling.
and may the echoes in the timber always lead you home.